Republic is a very, very good ship this patch. Deadeye and the whole long range meta really benefits Republic. Its weakness has always been its hull and the poor armor that comes with it. And surprisingly poor maneuverability, actually. The speed boost really doesn't add too much speed and acceleration to your ship compared to other things like Georgia. And your rudder shift isn't amazing. It's okay. But Republic is surprisingly clumsy compared to other battleships with speed boosts. But the guns have always been the highlight. And that's kind of the whole point of this patch, is long-range gun power. So having a 20-second reload, or basically a 20-second reload, 26 kilometers of range, and incredibly accurate guns means, well, you're going to be citadeling things and hitting people really, really hard at all ranges, basically. That said, it is still a battleship, and it does suffer from poor accuracy every once in a while. It's not like you're going to get perfectly accurate salvos. Here, this Des Moines has legendary mod. That's how he's able to stop and reverse so quickly. And you notice the poor vertical dispersion there. That's really rare, by the way. Republic is known for its incredibly good vertical dispersion and wide horizontal dispersion. We get one citadel there. Not amazing, but this salvo will show you what Republic dispersion is more like. It's just kind of a flat laser beam. And it works quite well. The one other weakness of the Republic is that you can be cheeked. Most people think Republic is almost impossible to citadel, and that's just not true. When you're giving a 45 to, let's say, 30 degree angle, somewhere in there, you're definitely capable of being citadeled. Even broadside, you just have to aim under the turrets. For whatever reason, under the turrets gives you the best chance of citadel. Here, I hit him in his cheek, and we get a citadel. It's not impossible. It's hard to hit, but it's not impossible. It's reasonably consistent at close ranges. Longer ranges, never going to happen. The turtleback does work on this ship. That's why you'll often find you'll get shatters or torpedo protection hit. Basically what that means is you hit the belt and it didn't penetrate. This ship has a couple layers of armor that you have to go through past the torpedo belt, so it makes it a little bit... it makes it difficult to deal damage to it when it's broadside at longer ranges with AP. You're not invincible, of course, but for the most part, you're not going to land massive salvos on this ship with AP. It's always the HE that's the issue, because you're going to full pen it literally everywhere. Unless you hit the turret, I guess. But everywhere else, as long as you can pen 32 millimeters, you're full penning this ship. But what's really crucial about this ship that makes it incredibly dangerous is this reload. It does not allow people to turn out between reloads. That's something that either by design or a happy coincidence, battleships with a 30-second reload, if they shoot and a cruiser dodges it, they actually have time to make a full turn out most of the time in between shots. And this created a nice bit of, okay, I should wait, hold my shot, force the cruiser to stay bow in, so he can't turn out, he's constantly thinking about my shot, and then my team will kill him as he gets closer and closer and closer. With Republic, you don't have to do that. You just shoot. Because if they try to turn out in between your shots, and they try and time it, you're going to reload right as they're broadside, and then you'll smash them. That's one of the scariest things about the Republic, and facing a Republic in a cruiser is pretty terrifying in that if the Republic player knows what they're doing. You could see the accuracy is pretty nice. I like this ship a lot. It's very good in the current meta of things, if you want a more AP-focused boat. It's not to say the HE's bad. You can definitely run it if a battleship is bow onto you and you can't deal much damage with the AP. But I think the AP is the star of the show with the Republic. It's a really, really, really strong ship. To note, the secondaries did get buffed to 12.5 kilometers like the GK. However, it did not receive any accuracy buff. So the full fat nerf of 10.0 on the secondaries lands on this ship, and it's bad. I do not recommend running a secondary build on this ship. The secondaries don't really pen much, and they're not going to hit anything. It's really, really unfortunate. The French battleships really can't run this build anymore. You'll see me pushing here, and that's because I have teammates, and I also have islands. I know that I can use these islands, so I am pushing in a Republic. Usually, that's not advised, but in games without CVs, crazy HE spammers, it is possible to push and have some fun in random battles. It's pretty nice. So I want to talk a little more about the guns, since that is the highlight. You should know these are some of the most dangerous guns in the game. They overmatch 30 millimeters, which is what most cruisers have. So, to a cruiser, this is the most dangerous battleship in the game, I think, because of its reload. Its very good accuracy and its reload make it incredibly dangerous. Even more so than a Vermont with 12 guns that all overmatch them, for example. Because the reload is essentially doubled for 4 more guns. Which doesn't sound amazing for the Vermont category. But yeah, Republic is incredibly scary. And it's less scary to battleships because it doesn't overmatch 32. Yamato's probably a little more scary, Thunder, that kind of thing. But for a lot of the targets you're going to be shooting at, like cruisers, Republic is terrifying. And if you're looking for a really strong AP-focused battleship in the patch, I would definitely recommend the whole French line, honestly. I remember having a lot of fun in the mid to high tier ones. Lyon is a bit of a meme with its 16 shells, but once you get higher up in the tiers, they all become pretty similar in their playstyle, so it's not like you're having to relearn how to play these different ships. They all kind of build on one another, which is really, really, really cool. And you have a great tier 10 at the top of the tier, so that's really, really nice. The playstyle is great. I mean, you're generally just a flanking ship. The poor armor and the better than average speed lends it to flanking and getting broadsides. You generally have lower caliber armor piercing shells compared to your tier, with the tier 10 excluded, but like tier 8 and 9 you get 380mm guns, so you're not really going to overmatch much. So you're trying to get broadsides. So you want to go to the flanks and use your speed and maneuverability that's, again, a little above average. It's not anything special to get into those slightly better positions than other ships would be able to at the same tier. The ship is actually pretty solid in a brawl, assuming people don't know where to shoot, like I showed you earlier. But the guns hit really, 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 really hard. And I think that's something people sometimes underestimate is, yes, this ship has weak armor and it'll go down quicker than other battleships, but the insane DPM of this ship actually carries it through in brawling scenarios. It actually means that you're able to out brawl a lot of the tier 10 battleships, especially because your gun angles are actually very strong as well. You'll notice that our angles forward and backwards are both very, 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 very good. And it's not like a GK where you have to give flat broadside to get your rear turrets off. I like the ship. I don't play it a lot because I generally am trying to make secondary battleships work in more brawling scenarios. But I'm slowly shifting away from that. Don't worry, guys. I'm shifting away to different ships that are actually good in the meta. And Republic is definitely one of them, so if you're looking for a solid tier 10 to get, you're not sure what to grind out and you want to play Battleship line, Republic is definitely a great option. So is the Japanese line up to the Yamato. Those two are probably pretty good ones right now if you want AP-focused ones, because they do have the range and the accuracy to be good at these somewhat longer ranges. You can see this is the base accuracy of the secondaries. There's nothing added on, but imagine this, but 35% better. It's not going to be all that amazing, right? So just at the end here, I want to talk a little bit about the playstyle. I have mentioned it a little bit. You do want to play farther back, but things to look out for if you want to push in this ship are definitely HE spammers, outside of the usual carrier, destroyer type of deal. If you're on a flank and you know there's a couple of good torpedo boat DDs, probably it's not a good idea to push unless you got your teammates with you. Taking a look at the map, there's some really, really, really strong islands on this map in particular. if you look at B7 and E8, 9? 8, E9-ish area, where some really strong light cruisers could camp behind those islands. There's islands like that on most maps where they could sit behind those islands and farm you out for free. And when you see scenarios like that, you need to look at the enemy team's lineup and think, okay, where are these ships going to be? If they're on my flank, I probably can't push in. And then you need to be constantly thinking about where and when there are openings for you. Because it is possible to push. Like this game, it did happen. But it is not easy to do. And of course, the optimal way to play Republic is on that fine line between being pushed up too far that you die and not pushing up enough, and then you're just sniping from the back, and you're not as effective. So the things I generally look for are, first, is there a CV in the game? If so, don't push. If there's a lot of destroyers, probably also don't push. If there's HE spamming cruisers that are, really strong at long ranges, or there's a lot of islands that allow the close range, high DPM ones to succeed, might not be a good idea if you know they're on your flank, that kind of thing. Republic's fragile. It dies very, very quickly. And to balance that out, you have these crazy strong guns. I think it's a nicely balanced ship, reasonably. If the guns were a little bit more consistent, I think it would be a nicely balanced ship, where it has definite weaknesses, but then it has strengths too. And learning that balance is hard. And you can even push in CV games, and you can push when there's lots of DDs. It's not like it won't happen, but you need to be constantly looking at the map and seeing where the strength of the enemy team is, because you're never going to want to push into a fully strong enemy team where they have 5 to 6 ships, that kind of thing, on your flank. You're going to want to push in when there's only a couple ships, and there's islands that you can use as almost save points or checkpoints, where you can get a breather and get your heal back, your cooldowns can come back. But it's definitely weak. Thunder hits like 3 shells and he does 10k in a fire. So he could kill me in like 3 more salvos, which is like a minute. So it's squishy, but learning that balance is what this ship is about. And you're gonna learn that throughout the entire line. That's the nice thing, is this whole line kind of plays like this, where there's that fine line balance where you're incredibly effective, but you die too quick, or you're not effective enough and you're camping the back. It's a fun thing to learn, and it takes a lot of practice, really. And I mess it up a lot too, so don't feel bad if you end up dying or you feel like you're playing at the back too far. It takes a lot of time to figure that out. So yeah, I like the ship a lot though. So if you're looking for a fun battleship at tier 10, definitely give the Republic a shot, and the rest of the line for that matter. I've had a good time with this entire tech tree. So the Republic build is basically just the same as every other battleship in the game. Wargaming's done a great job of pigeonholing people into the same builds. Tier 1 and 2, you can basically take whatever you want to. These don't matter as much. I prefer Gunfeeder and then AA. Your AA is decent on the ship, but you're really not going to solo stop any tier 10 carrier. So you just still want to, roll with your fleet, that kind of thing. Adrenaline Rush, and then Deadeye and Concealment, and then last I would get Emergency Repair Expert, since you're probably not going in too hard to make use of fire prevention. The extra heal might be useful late game. And then last I would probably get Basic Survivability, perhaps Expert AA, but more than likely Basic Survivability. You could go, perhaps, and take long-range secondary battery shells and get the range of the secondaries, up to like 11 kilometers, but I don't think it's worth it, man. With the poor accuracy, I just really, really don't think it's worth it. And then the upgrade modules, we got our reload mod. You don't need extra range right now. 21.1 kilometers. This one, like I said, it gives you better reload, but look at that cost of firing range, 24%. Yikes. I would not recommend that in this patch. Concealment, damage control system, accuracy. I am running an engine boost mod to make it last a little longer. You'll notice it's only the 8% kind of weak speed boost, but it's alright. And then I take auxiliary armaments, because your main guns don't really get knocked out all that much, and I want to keep my AA alive. because that does matter late game in CV batches. So that's the way I build up my Republic. I enjoy this ship, and I think that a lot of people would enjoy this ship. It's a very, very good battleship at tier 10 these days. So thank you all very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.